Hi, Paul Ballard here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the F word, fear. There are many mnemonics for the word fear, and I've got my very own, which I'll share with you in a minute. But the reason why I want you to know about this phenomena is because I guarantee in your life so far, you've already encountered the thing that I want to share with you today. But I want you to become consciously aware of it and also reassure you that it's perfectly normal. And here's why. It's because our brain is a shortcutting device. It's a normalizing device. It will do its utmost to make things simple. It will do its utmost to keep you safe and to keep you feeling secure. That's why whenever you do something new or try to do something new, you'll start to get signals through doubts, fears, inner dialogues, trying to get you to change your mind. Literally, change your mind from I can to a mind that says I won't. And I'm going to share with you some deeper information as we go forward. But for now, I think there's no better person to teach you this than somebody that I have respected and admired for many, many years. I've been involved in this industry for 20. This guy has been involved in the industry for 60 years plus. His name is Bob Proctor. I'm sure you've already heard of him. And if you haven't, you're in for a treat. I'm going to let him explain very briefly what he calls the terror barrier. I call it the fear barrier. And I'll come back to you afterwards, but have a look at this from Bob.
Hello there and welcome. We talk about the terror barrier in our programs, and I have people ask me every now and then, what is the terror barrier? Well, the terror barrier is that invisible line that separates you from things you know and are familiar with to things you don't know and are not familiar with. Let me give you an example. In fact, let's back away from the terror barrier for a moment. And let's think of the things you do every day and it causes no fear. You feel very comfortable. You may like or dislike it, but you do it every day. You drive your car, you get dressed, and you go and do what you do. Like what I'm doing right now is broadcasting or filming. I do this all the time, so I'm very comfortable doing this. I have no trouble sitting down in front of a camera and, freely expressing what's going on inside. No fear, very comfortable. It's what I do on a regular basis. Now, within this studio, there's things going on that I know nothing about, literally. Scott Edwards is our studio director. He is able, we can come into this studio from anywhere in the world and film me. He can edit films. Scott's actually from Manchester in England. He can operate this studio off his laptop from Manchester, England. I know nothing about how to do that. Nothing. So I'm going to give you a visual now here. I want you to look at this for a moment. Let's suppose this line here represents, this is what I know. And I'll say, and I'm familiar with. All this area here is what I know and what I'm familiar with. This area here, I'm not familiar with. I don't know. Now, I can come right up to that line and wander away, cause no fear. On the other side of the line is stuff that Scott Edwards knows how to do, I know nothing about. And you see, I'm not going to go there. I know I'm not going to go there. I stay over here. I stay in the area that I'm familiar with. So there's no fear involved. Now I want you to think of this. Let's suppose I want to go over there. Then what we look at here would be called a terror barrier. And I got to go through that. I've got to go into an area that I don't know. And I'm not familiar with. Let's say public speaking is something I'm very familiar with. I can operate that here, no problem at all. If you were doing that, they say that public speaking is one of the greatest fears we have. So the average person to go over and do that, they're going into what they don't know. They would hit that and bounce right off that terror barrier. It causes all kinds of problems. Now, the terror barrier is that invisible screen that stands between what we know and are comfortable doing and what we don't know and would cause great discomfort if we started to do it. Now, if this is something over here you want to do, let's suppose you want to be a public speaker, then you want to learn how to go through that line. You have to learn how to face the thing you fear and deal with it, and that is another subject. And we'll talk about that a little later. But this is what you call the terror barrier. It's what separates you from what you know and are comfortable with and what you don't know and causes a great deal of discomfort. And when you're going to go over here into an area you're not familiar with, you have to go through the terror barrier. Now, we teach people how to do that in our programs. And it's something you can do. This line here is referred to as fear. I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to ever let fear stop you from doing the thing you really want to do. So if this is something you really want to do and you've got to go through the terror barrier, make certain you study this. Because you do not want to let fear control you. You control the fear. Thank you.
Wasn't that interesting? Can you see now what I was talking about what the mind will do when you try to get from the things that you're comfortable doing and things which are normal for you through to the other side of doing new things, making new decisions, taking new actions in order to get new results. All of that newness is too much for the brain to cope with. So it will do its best to talk you out of it in the mode of niggling in doubt. Mr. and Mrs. Yeah, but this is the voice that says, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Yeah, but what if I fail? Yeah, but what if I can't afford it? Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. But what if it does work? What if it really works? What if you beat the odds and completely transform all areas of your life? As Tony Robbins says, what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. Now, I'm going to give you a personal example of this terror barrier, because Bob talked there about public speaking. Well, I'm a public speaker now, and I can comfortably stand on the stage and expose all of my failures, my faults, and my trips through my 20-year career, and not think anything of it. But do you know that when I was late teens and early 20s, I was so shy. I was afraid to use a bus. It's true. People don't believe me when they see me now. I was so afraid of people looking at me when you board a bus at the front. I used to walk home, even in the depths of an English winter and the freezing cold and rain, rather than spend 30 seconds walking down the length of the bus having people look at me. So now look what I do for a living. So I'm using this example not to impress you with me, I'm nothing to impress you, but to impress upon you the power of facing the terror barrier, as Bob calls it, or fear. Now, I have an acronym for fear, and it's this: F-E, feel the emotion, A-R, and respond. You get to choose your response. Once you become consciously aware of this mechanism in place where you hit the line and you bounce back, and you're aware that you're going to do that ahead of time, it means that when these doubts come up, when the inner dialogue starts talking to you, when you get the sickening feeling in your stomach because you're not sure, and then you remember this is normal. This is the difference between those that do and succeed and those that don't and stay where they are. And I guarantee you, every single person that goes through and succeeds, and even those that go through and fail, because I've failed as well, many, many times, but I'm still here. But the difference is this: They all felt the same fear. They all hit the same barrier, but went through anyway. I promise you, no one is exempt from the fear barrier. Everyone will have had it. But once you go through once, then the next time is easier. And the next time is easier. It will never go away. Don't let me kid you or give you any BS here. It will never go away when there's a big decision to be made. But you know it's normal, and you know that last time was okay. Even if it failed, it's okay. You'll handle it. So what kind of things will trigger this terror barrier or fear barrier response? Maybe your dream house comes available and the mortgage is more than you think you can afford, but you buy it anyway. Maybe you need a car and you want to buy the car, but you think you can't afford it. Maybe it's a decision about which school to put your children in. And you don't want to make the wrong decision, so you dither and you don't know what to do, and eventually you make a decision and it will turn out okay. It could be even to start a relationship or end a relationship or go for a new job or quit your job and start a business. All of these decisions that people make every single day are the things that will generate a response known as the terror or the fear barrier. And in my coaching programs, all of them, I will teach you how to feel the emotion and respond so that you can never be powerless. You can never feel victim of bouncing back and staying where you are, unless of course that's what you really want. Oh, by the way, that terror barrier thing could even be about engaging a coach. Any decision where you're going to be doing something new, something different, stepping up, expanding and growing. And by the way, one of my favorite quotes of mine is, if you're not growing, you're dying. And another one, if you're not scared a lot, you're not growing. So I hope you enjoyed that, a little insight into what's going on in everybody's head. Everybody's head. Everyone you ever see will have gone through the fear barrier at some point. And the question is, will you? Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon.